Richaun Holmes is officially a Sacramento King for the next 4 seasons. And I got my guy, my brother, Javier Zaragoza to break it all down. He only shows up for the big moments because he's big time now. How you doing, bro?
Doing great, man. It's been a busy summer coaching up the youth and getting them right. But today, all my Sacramento Kings fans, all my basketball fans, just appreciate just having faith in your general manager. Today shows that wrong, right, or indifferent. We got a great defensive stalwarts to be part of our coaching staff, and then to cap off the night, we get our center in the interior to re-sign on a very team-friendly but exponential deal. I think it's a win-win for both parties. And like I said, Sacramento, I love you. Let's get to work. That's Richaun's quote, paraphrased there on his tweet.
Right.
Hey, Kings fans, man, I'm smiling today because he's building something that a lot of teams and a lot of previous regimes in this organization haven't been able to find the answer to. Put together this lineup from the stars to reserves. Granted, we still got some work to do, but he didn't let Bogdanovich 2.0 happen again.
Which is a good thing because we would have chewed him apart if he allowed that to happen. Today was a positive day for the Kings. They ended up getting Mel Harkless on a pretty team-friendly deal for King standards, at least. They bumped up his salary 120% from what he was making last season. 2 years, $9 million, about 4.5. Then they went out and they got Alex Len as a backup. About 7.65, if I'm not mistaken. So that's about almost 4. And they used a biannual exception on that deal. The Kings made moves today, Javi. They became a better team, in my opinion. They added defensive IQ to this team by adding Doug Christie. I don't know what his role will be yet. I'm assuming it'll be the defensive coordinator, because Rex Kalamian ended up going to the Detroit Pistons, but that's not confirmed. We don't know that for sure, but I'm assuming that's going to be it. Now, will his defensive IQ translate onto the floor as a coach? That's a whole separate conversation, but Kings fans must be optimistic. On top of that, they went out and they got one of the best defenders in college basketball, Daveon Mitchell. Pretty good so far. The Kings have improved defensively on different levels from an IQ on the floor and the coaching staff. I like it, man. Thoughts on Daveon Mitchell? I know I haven't really heard your thoughts about it, but let's hear them.
At the end of the day, what we did was simple. We added a major hole in our team's overall composition and are going to plug and play that draft pick to fill that void. I'm not saying Daveon is going to fill the void overall in regards to our, league, if not historically worst NBA ranked defense, but he's definitely going to take a major part in turning around this defensive inefficiency. I mean, that's why Alex Len was signed. That's why obviously Richaun was re-signed, but that's why Daveon was selected where he was. I think maybe if Franz was there or maybe any other player might have slipped, they might have considered him, but I feel like they took BPA, best player available. But on top of that, they said, hey, where are we lacking at on this team? We're lacking defensively, and we're lacking in physicality. So they went and got Daveon. They went and traded for Tristan Thompson, whether wrong, right, or different. I mean, he's a physical player. I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's bad.
I'm not sure if that's confirmed yet, though.
That's the plan, though. There's still some ramifications with Chris Dunn, the trade exception. Also, like I said, they re-signed Richaun, and they re-signed that low blow, or excuse me, that shot blocking low post presence that's going to obviously pack a punch and, give Richaun a blow. And Alex Len, who we've all seen play well in Sacramento before when he was acquired here before.
I like Alex Len a lot more than I do Tristan Thompson, man.
I just thought we have a lot of him, though, brother. Like, think about this. Bagley, whether Bagley's going to stay, Bagley, Holmes. We re-signed Metu and Jones. We have Lynn and Thompson. It's like, so are they going to move Metu to the 3? Or I know they're probably going to get rid of one of the big men. Is Tristan? Because I've heard in NBA circles that Tristan's going to be part of another trade, like because he's expiring. Like pair him with the Hield or potentially Bagley because he's a 9.5 expiring contract off the books. I'm still excited. The only thing, I didn't like the DeLon Wright trade, but it still hasn't been confirmed, like you said. But I don't like the idea of it. But I see it as a lateral move to try to make a forward move because But again, the lawn is expiring, but maybe somebody wants an extra 1.5 expiring. Maybe they just want to be exact where they need to be within the 125 percentile to have a contract being sent out for salary being,
Right.
and taking regards to taking any type of salary, and it has to be the 125 percentile of the outgoing salary, and vice versa. But I'm a happy Kings fan, and I got a few pieces coming for our platform here at the Cowboy Kingdom. But hey, Kings fans, comment, call in, whatever we're gonna do, interact, because today is a day for you to rejoice. I mean, we got our guy back, and we got our guy back in a time that everyone is. The Kings are a 31-win team. The Kings are this. The Kings are that. The Kings don't have a direction, but their starting center resigned for a team-friendly deal. Whether the narrative and the rhetoric was true in regards to the commentary, if him wanting $20 million per year was correct or not, he resigned for 55 over 4, the bird rights contract. He's our center, dog. Like, we got no problem going forward, and we have a backup for him. We have a backup and a backup. You know what I mean? And that's a good problem to hold and have. But I just want to see going forward how's Mir going to play this out. And I have a trade proposition for you, and I want to see what you think. But we'll get into that in a little later down the line in the show.
Absolutely. And in terms of Richaun signing for the 4 years, $55 million, or it's up to worth up to $55 million. All right. Kings cast. Eric's calling in, huh? Give me a sec.
We got a phone call from Eric.
Yes, sir. Give me one. Assigned to the right. Guest one. All right. Give me a sec, Eric. Let me see. Add to the right, huh? What am I? Okay, I got it. Guess what is you? Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, Leo?
What's up, Eric?
What's going on, man?
You excited?
So, yes,
or what?
I got the invite on Kingsland, so I thought you were sending me some spam or something, to be honest. But
we don't send spam, brother. Hey, first of all, I'm excited to have you on. It's been a long time coming. Definitely a big fan of your guys' show. Love the Facebook group. Love interacting with every single one of you guys. Always a pleasure of mine. But I just want to hear your initial thoughts of bringing back Richaun Holmes, and then we can get into the logistics of what was said and what wasn't said, because I feel like you're a little bit confused on that end.
maybe, I don't know, man. So yeah, we run Kings Cast, and we appreciate you checking that out, and everybody on Kingsland. So yeah, Leo participates on Kingsland with us, with KC on there. A lot of good takes coming out. But my initial thoughts on Holmes, it's like probably like a lot of people, right? Is that the whole time I think we wanted Richaun Holmes to come back. People liked Richaun Holmes, but so I guess initial thoughts, yeah, you're happy to have him back. I mean, you never want to lose a player just for nothing. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to strictly the player, yeah, I think I'm happy about that. I think everybody's happy about that, and everybody on the Kingsland page is definitely happy about that.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that, because I felt like sometimes it made it seem like you didn't want him back, like you wanted him back for, whatever, $10 million, just to throw that number out there. And I felt like, well, that wasn't really realistic. And obviously it didn't go that way. It was a lot closer to $14 million. But in terms of the numbers, were you going to bash the deal if he ended up getting $15 million per season?
Yeah, we would have. That's one thing that we've said with my co-host Ryan on Kingscast the whole time, is that it was mostly, here's the thing, is like it comes across sometimes, because you know how takes are out there, right? Like, people have crazy takes, and then you have to go out there and sometimes defend it, and it makes you seem like you don't like the player. It happened to us on Kingscast last year with Bogey, right? Where we were just telling everybody, Bogey, that market is not for the Kings. Like, we shouldn't pay him that. So everyone thought we were Bogey haters, and it kind of turned into the same thing this year when it came to Richaun Holmes, because the people are hearing 15, to 20 million. And we're like, that's not a market. And it's like what I've told you and Emmanuel in there, which was that there's no real player comp to justify that. That's not what the market was going to be for him. And I never thought that's what it was going to be. So to be honest with you, I never thought that he was going to get paid that much. So the only way I did is if some crazy team out there that had cap space with a player like on a rookie deal or something was feeling like they wanted to throw a little bit of money around, then they might be able to do it. But it wasn't going to be from the Kings. And so, yeah, I would have knocked it, but they wouldn't have been able to afford to pay him that if it was 15 to 20 million, you know?
And I said that 100 times. I said, I don't see how the Kings get to 16 million. I don't see how the Kings get to 15 million unless they had made that trade earlier. And even then, it was super tough. But the last 3 days, I've been really keyed in with the Holmes camp. And when I saw how the draft, because the Hornets were the leading team to get Holmes, and they would have paid him 15, 16. But when they traded for Mason Plumlee and they drafted Kai Jones, everything started to fall in place for the Kings in a very lucky way, because that was a team that they feared because they had the most money. And even today when they got rid of Devontae Graham, they had the $13.75 million. But at that juncture, when they made that deal happen and that sign and trade, I already had word that this deal was pretty much done with the Kings. It was between the Kings and the Raptors, honestly. Like, I gave people hints during my live. I was texting back and forth, and I was giving people hints, obviously not giving them exact, because like I told people, it's not my job to break news. I'm not in that business to break the news, because a lot of times agents tell you false information, and I'm at the juncture where I tell people this. I'm already not liked on Twitter, and if I would put misinformation out there that I was told, then I'm going to get scrutinized. So that's not the game that I want to play. But I was told this was going to happen. And I'm just excited for Kings fans in general. And to your point of I was wrong about the 15 million, he was definitely worth that. But I also said I would never pay him more than 16 million. Now, there were people in our Facebook group who were saying 2018, and I thought that was a bit ridiculous.
Well, it's most people don't understand the cap, and you know the reason I jumped on is because you've gone back and forth with KC, myself, a couple other people on there on Kingsland about this topic particularly, right? And
Right.
I think it's a real nuanced. It's a real nuanced thing. Like when the Kings are building a team, you can't be locking up older players for a bunch of years at 80 million for 4 years. That was crazy. You know, that was just a crazy take, and a lot of people did have that take, and that's why on Kings Cast it seemed like we were. You know, and you and Emmanuel you guys did call me and Ryan haters. You did call us that because we
haters
were
because you said 10 million though. Haters because you said 10 million.
You said we were haters because you could check him. I hit you, Leo. We said that he wasn't worth more than 15. He wasn't. That's all.
But
we
you also
ever
said he
that,
was worth 10 million too, though, right?
No, we never did. We said if you're asking me what I'd want to pay him, I said
me too.
That's what our conversation was about. Like if you had to ask us what we pay him, that's what we said. It'd be maybe front loaded deal. Maybe we even said on the podcast maybe he'd get 15 million on the front year and it de-escalated down. But it was never going to be a 15 million year over year average. It never was going to be that. But we figured just because he played the minutes, there was going to be some demand. I mean, you see guys getting contracts. Nerlens Noel, who I don't think is even really close to Holmes. I mean, look what he got paid today. So once you kind of see the market,
that's my point.
yeah. And so when you see and I dropped the link on Kingsland today. Our prediction always was that he was just going to get what the market value was. That was all it was ever. And the 15 to 20 million stuff was nuts, dude. And anybody who was backing that was crazy. And a lot of people did come at us about that.
Right. But you also said 10 to 13, and it wasn't. It was almost 14 million. So, we were both like $1 million off, honestly, because with incentives.
Again, my point
go
was
ahead.
always my point was always, and my brother's point, Ryan, his point was always, he's never going to get more than 15. That was pretty much it. That was it, and it was never we don't like Holmes. It was never anything more than that. It was just. He's not going to get more than 15. That's all it ever was.
I said that 1,000 times on the podcast. I don't know how it translated onto the group, but I said Leo would pay him 16, but I didn't think he was going to get more than 15. I said that 1,000 times. I just didn't see it. But
Can I ask you something then?
go ahead.
How come? So this is where I went back at you, right? Because you kind of you'll go at people on Twitter and on the Facebook group with us, all right? So I mean I have a tweet from you that says you say on there, people just don't believe that he's a 15 million to 18 million a year player. Like you said that, and you said some people just can't comprehend that, and that's kind of where this all started. Because my reply to that was, well, he's not. Right. And that's kind of where it all started with that back and forth between you and me, because you were saying people can't comprehend that he's a 15 to 18 million a year player. And I said he's not. And that's where the spat between you. It's not.
Yeah.
Personal.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
I say spat, but it's just like that's where the debate between you and I really started. Was that point right there? Because you did say that. And I was always, no, he's not worth that.
Right. Well, like you said, Noel, a backup. A career backup just got paid almost $12 million per season. Now, you tell me, name me, besides Bam Adebayo, who is a better perimeter defender at the center position than Richaun Holmes? You can't name him, right? That's my point.
I don't know, but
there isn't. No, there isn't though, because I've had this conversation with a lot of different coaches league-wide. There isn't a better perimeter defender besides Bam. And that is super valuable in the playoffs. What happened to the Utah Jazz? Rudy Gobert got toasted. Rudy Gobert, a guy that I'm sure everybody loves, or that you guys love, big guys like Andre Drummond and Hassan Whiteside. Those guys aren't playable in the playoffs. Guess what? Richaun Holmes is playable in the playoffs.
I understand that, and that's why we've always said, when you asked me the initial question, how do you feel about him coming back? I like him. I'm a fan of him. I want him to be here. But you say that point, but then at the same time, too, there is an issue with the Kings last season, and the Kings didn't rebound. The Kings didn't have an interior defense, and he did lack in that area, and that is justified.
He was top 10 in blocks.
That is legitimate.
He was top 10 in blocks.
Blocks doesn't represent necessarily interior defense, though. You know what I mean?
But his interior defense wasn't good because his perimeter defenders, his forwards and his guards were god awful all year.
Subpar. Preach.
But my point is that you like to look. Because one thing you've always cited is, he switches on pick and rolls. Okay.
Every time.
He switches on pick and rolls. But he also the thing also was that he does have deficiencies as well. I mean, he's really an undersized center. He's really a forward. That's what we've always said. He's really a forward. He's not ever going to be a double-digit rebound guy. And bigger guys do come in. And we just made a joke on the podcast the other day. You know how much money that Ryan and I made this year on betting the over on opposing team centers getting rebounds on them? I mean, we did. I mean, there was a list that I had saved of Valanciunas, all these guys, double-digit rebounds. They're hitting the over in the first half,
right.
And so that you just have to acknowledge that as well. You know what I mean? Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, he can switch on the pick and roll. Yeah, he can guard. That's super valuable. I was never really dismissing that. You know what I mean? And it's just that there is that other side to his game that people who are full support like yourself don't always consider as well, which is the rebounding, which is the big body stuff.
Okay, well, answer me this. I don't know if you've ever played basketball or not, but if you're on the perimeter, I would say a vast majority of the time, is it easier or more difficult to grab rebounds?
I mean,
answer it.
I'll ask you this.
Answer it.
I mean, if you're a starting center in the NBA playing 30 minutes a game, I mean, you're constantly being out rebounded. You know what I mean?
Is he getting out rebounded, or is he asked, or is he asked in the Kings scheme to switch everything? Is he asked to switch everything? Is he asked to switch on to point guards, which then takes him away from the actual rim, to then takes him away for an extra 3-4 rebounds a game, right? Because he's still averaging eight boards a game while still guarding so many guards. So that's on Luke Walton and his staff for pretty much not making his guards fight through screens, because then that puts Holmes in a tough situation. His guys don't rotate. He comes back. He saves everybody else's ass, and by the time he gets back to his man, guess what? He's out of position. I don't know if you actually see the nuances of basketball that way, bro, because that happens all game long.
You say, but that's what you say like that. Like,
Always helping the helper, man.
I feel like
Consistently guarding the perimeter.
When it comes to a point like this, see, this is what I'm saying. It comes to a point like this, right?
It's on film, brother. It's not in my opinion. It's literally on film.
It comes to a point. It comes to a point like this where, see, then I have to argue. I agree with you on his role, but there's also that other side of the game as well. You know, that guys, and we're drawing away from the original point that we were ever making, which was that I just don't think he was worth 15 to 20 million. Because that was the original point. I don't think that he's a true. Yeah, but I think that you did. I think that
he's not worth 20 million. He's not worth 19. He's not worth it. No, but I've always said it though. But on my show, I've always said this though. I would not pay him more than 16.
But you come into Kingsland and you said that, which is the page, and your homie here, he did say that. I know for sure. Sorry, bro. I don't know your name. But I do have a clip on you on Kingsland. You guys did say that. That's what I'm saying.
Javier did say that. Javier did say that.
What I say?
You said 18 million per season for sure. Like, yeah, you said 18 mil per season. Yeah, he did.
If you watch the tape, you'll see the value that Richaun Holmes adds his team. Like you said, he has to help the helper consistently on every defensive possession because of the lack of defensive stability they have on the perimeter with the guards on this team currently. At least in last season's roster configuration, De'Aaron Fox, outside of him, they had no true defensive stalwart. Halliburton, but he got injured consistently. Richaun Holmes had to guard consistently on the perimeter with guards that could shoot because they couldn't have anybody 1 through 3 guard their man one-on-one consistently.
Facts.
That's why he averaged 8 rebounds instead of 12, because he had to play in the perimeter and was never in the interior compared to most centers. You keep Richaun in the interior, he's averaging a double-double every night. 12 and 10, 15 and 12, 20 and 15 on a great night.
Says what, though?
Richaun Holmes is not just his nasty, but his effort and his will to the rim is second to none.
So his effort and his will to the rim justifies $20 million a year? I mean, that's been my thing the whole thing, guys, is that, you know, it's that people love him. I get people love him, dude. People in Kings fans, you know what they love? They love the hustle. They love the effort, the try-hard guys, the guys who go out there and say they love.
I don't care about that, though.
You know, I don't care about it either. But a lot of people, you know, it's what they say. Well, he's been here, so we need to. You know, a lot of people on Kingsland, Leo. I know you.
I don't care about that either. We
gotta give him all this money. You
don't got to give him anything.
Yeah, you know, my point has been, always will be with any player. It's like when you're a small market team in a salary cap league, the goal is to manage your cap assets, and you have to manage them and make tough decisions. You can't be overpaying guys. You can't be locking guys in. You have to pay them market value, and that's all my point ever was. Is his market value was never 15 to 20. People have been arguing with me that forever. You know what I mean? And then it comes back to now. It's like you said. I like him being here. I'm happy he's here. I mean, I said it months ago. I mean, I think that he can start for the center for the Kings, and that's cool. I'll be a fan of that. But with that, you got to understand what comes with it. There is deficiencies to his game. I do think that a lot of his stats come from volume of minutes. I'd be curious to see what his statistical output is at 25 minutes a game, which is probably more at 11 points and 6 rebounds. And at 25 minutes a game in 3 years, to your homie here, in 3 years, if you're paying that guy $20 million a year, you know, and he's 32 years old playing 22 minutes at 9 points, 10 points, 6 rebounds, that's not worth $20 million a year. And that was my whole point about the contract. It's always been about the contract. It's never necessarily been about the talent. It's never really been about that.
But I feel like you keep dismissing the fact that on tape, he's not set up to succeed on the Kings, yet he still put up relatively good numbers for being on the worst defense in NBA history. And that's my point, where I feel like you keep dismissing that, acting like, oh, he gets bodied. Like, if every center in the game doesn't get bodied, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I hate about the group is that the people who are not, or who didn't want to sign Richaun Holmes, that is the number one thing. He's undersized and he gets bodied. But I'm like, do you even watch and just understand how the Kings play, like from a scheme perspective? Like, there's a reason why he's out of position. It's not because one-on-one, I feel comfortable him guarding anybody. But the problem is, it's never one-on-one. Basketball isn't one-on-one. There's screens being set on the weak side. There's screens being set on strong side. That's just how basketball is, though. Like, Richaun Holmes can hold his own against anybody, and he's proven that for a long time. But
I think he at the perimeter, I agree. I don't disagree with you, man. I at the perimeter, he is really valuable, and I think a lot of teams would like to have a guy like that at a perimeter, like you say, who can switch. There is, but you can't deny that there is this part of him that in the paint he's not formidable. I mean, he's just not. He is not formidable. And
You didn't listen to what I just said. In the paint, one-on-one from the get-go, or in the paint when he rotates back to his man? Because that's a big difference.
Both. In the paint, generally, he's not formidable. That's been our thing.
No, but there needs to be context to that, bro. Come on, stop it.
It's they're not really context. It's pretty general statement. Like in the paint, I don't think he's that formidable. No, I don't. But that's fine. That's fine. That's why if you look what the Kings did this year, and what they're going to do is like you're saying, they are going to probably play smaller. It's like they did last year. They're going to play smaller. That's why they went out and got perimeter defenders, because they are going to play that way. That's kind of where the game is at. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they're going to have to find guys. That's why you like the Alex Len signing. Alex Len, a random guy, is going to come in and when they do get those types of matchups, you can go in there and bang with dudes. They didn't have that last year. Who was banging last year, Leo? Who was banging on the Kings? Nobody?
I mean, your boy Hassan Whiteside was there.
Why is Hassan Whiteside my boy all of a sudden? I never.
No, was it your boy or was it your brother's boy?
Nobody on Kings Cast was about
that.
No.
KC was on him forever.
KC is. I can't speak for KC. He's not on. He's not on Kings Cast.
Okay.
KC is not on Kings Cast.
So you weren't on Whiteside, right?
I think just to clarify. Initially, no, I was excited by it. I was excited by it initially, but once you saw what they were going to do, how they were going to use him, his injuries, I mean, it was like clear. You know what I mean? But it was never. I was never like throughout the. No.
Were you one of the people that said he's gonna start on day one though when they first signed him?
I wasn't sure what they were going to do. The thing is that one thing I said on the podcast before is that. Here's my thing about Richaun Holmes. Like in context, he was a journeyman guy who didn't really play a lot of minutes, and then he came to Sacramento, and all of a sudden he got a lot of minutes. All of a sudden he started playing 30 minutes a game, and so and he did it for 1 year, and he did it I think for like 75% of the games his first year here. In the bubble, I don't think he played too well. So in the offseason, it was kind of one of those things where I wasn't really.
Did you watch him in Phoenix? Did you watch him in Phoenix?
A little bit, but it's not like he was. He's not like he was tearing it up.
He was. He was though. He was outplaying DeAndre Ayton. The Suns, from a PR perspective, the same way the Kings have protected Marvin Bagley since his tenure here, they could not have that, and that was a big thing. Any Suns fan will tell you this. He was outplaying DeAndre Ayton, and the Suns were better when Holmes was on the floor. That's the funny thing. And the reason why he ended up coming to SAC, or he was, I guess, a free agent, was because of the whole marijuana incident. That is the true reason why he was let go.
So he's all right. I don't know. You're the insider, Leo. I'm just a guy, dude. No, I don't know about all that marijuana stuff. I mean, if guys got let go and didn't get contracts to NBA because of marijuana, I think they're all smoking weed. So I don't really know about all that.
Oh, well, me too.
What I mean? But he came here. The point was he came here. He was a journeyman. He hadn't played a lot of minutes. I mean, that's what it was.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so I think that after when he was the guy was getting MVP chance in December, if you remember his first month here. Remember that they're trying MVP, and it's for me. I'm like, you need to play a significant amount of games to put something there. So back to the original point, though, as coming into the year, I was kind of so on him. As he played throughout the year, he played consistent. He gradually increased his statistical output. The value became a little bit more true. I bought more into, okay, yeah, I get it, and I want the guy here. And my thing always was, I'll jump for joy if he comes here on market value. That's always been my thing. And as I said, I'm not a Holmes hater. I don't hate Holmes. I really like Holmes. You know who my favorite player of all time is, Leo? Okay, let's put it in context. My favorite player of all time is Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace literally did nothing on offense. He's the ultimate undersized center hustle defensive guy. Okay, so I value that shit. I love it. Okay,
yeah.
So just so you know where I'm coming from.
How much money did he make? How much money did he make in his NBA career?
Well, there's different back then. He did get paid by the Bulls when he was a little too late, so that was kind of they gave him a lot. But I think now that it comes down to it, though, he's here. It's cool. We'll cheer for him. I'm not a hater, but from being in the groups that that there's a lot more to it when it comes to contracts, man. And these general managers, they're managing their cap just as much, and that's all it's ever been. That's what, it's always going to be that player's time where they're going to have to make a decision on him. And at the end of the day, I'm going to err on the side of not overpaying a guy to lock the Kings up. So the reason I jumped on, the reason I've been going back and forth, he was never worth 15 to 20 million. I never said that. You did say that, but it is what it is. And your homie definitely said it, Leo. So
no,
he's not. He definitely said it.
Javier definitely said he'd pay him 18. I was very adamant. I would never pay Richaun Holmes $18 million. Never. With that,
so if you said, can I ask you though? Can I ask you real quick? Okay. Then why would you say that? I mean, you literally said that. I could pull it up right here. Okay. You said that he's people aren't willing to accept that he's a 15 to 18 million a year player.
Other teams would have paid him that,
and some people can't comprehend it.
Other teams would have paid him that, but the draft had a lot to do with it. The way free agency went had a lot to do with that, bro. Like, everything fell in place for the Kings. They got very lucky. Very lucky. The Hornets were going to offer him the year before, the Hornets had offered Montrezl Harrell $60 million per season. He said, no, I'm going to the Lakers, and that's what happened. Richaun Holmes is better than Montrezl Harrell. Make no mistake about it.
I don't know.
No. The Hornets were the team that was going to sign Richaun Holmes.
You've been consistent. You've been consistent about that. You've said that. I don't know, man. You're the insider. Like I said, I'm just a guy. I don't know. I'm not the insider.
With that said, though, did you like that deal, that potential deal that broke down last second with Buddy Hield and the Lakers?
Oh, yeah. So I'm glad you asked me about that, because we've also been on we call them the I Hate Buddy fan club on Kingsland.
Yep.
So that's all the people who blame Buddy Hield for everything in their life, every turnover, everything bad. Where do you stand on that before I give you my take? You've always kind of supported Buddy Hield, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, that's my guy. But at the same time, I've always held him accountable, especially in my film sessions. Like, I've told him to his face plenty of times. But again, no player is perfect. He's an awful defender. He got better last year. He was an improved playmaker last year. But I've always said his gravity is second to none. He's a top 5 shooter in the NBA. That is freaking valuable. As we saw today, once again, all these shooters are getting paid over $18 million. The reason why he got paid 23 was because he's in Sacramento and they had no choice but to pay him that. But he is definitely worth $18 to $20 million in the open market. Make no mistake about it.
No, he absolutely is. And I think the 2 years before they signed him, I mean, he was the team's leading scorer.
Right.
And so, going into that offseason, a lot of context in that contract. He was slightly overpaid, but it was a de-escalating contract, which I always valued, which means that at the end of that contract, he's going to be valuable. No, you're right, though, about shooters. I'll answer your question, but you're right, though, about shooters being on a premium. You learned that last year with Luke Kennard. The Clippers paid that dude $15 million a year, and who the hell is Luke Kennard, dude? He's average. So, and Duncan Robinson today got paid. So, yeah, shooters are a premium. That's why with the I Hate Buddy fan club has always been about, trade away Buddy Hield for a bag of chips. I think that takes – can I cuss on here? Am I allowed to cuss?
Go ahead.
I think that takes fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So that's just been how we've always felt. Our take on Kings Cast was always just give him a chance. Just let him play the full year with De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt. Let's let this roster play. Now that time's done, I like Buddy Hield. I'm not going to give him away for nothing. I think that deal was kind of as good a deal as you're going to kind of get. It was a little bit of a haul. People hate on Kuzma just because he dyes his hair and he plays in LA. But the guy is a young wing scorer. I'm pretty sure he averaged off the top of my head, 16, 18 points a game one year. He's a cool wing scorer, you know what I mean? And then to get Harrell off the bench in the 22nd pick, that would have been kind of interesting. But it fell through. At this point now, it's going to be very interesting. Maybe you got the sources you can let us know at some point, because
imagine Harrell. Imagine Harrell and Holmes. Would you have liked that?
Oh yeah. Like I said, my favorite player of all time is Ben Wallace, dude. I mean, I'm about throwing bows. You know what I mean? And I think that that front court would have been cool. But I think it just goes to show now that I think it taught a lot of people a lesson who hate on Buddy Hield, that he has value, like you said, because of the shooting, right? On the market, teams would want that. And I think it's gonna if they're going to trade him moving forward, it's going to have to yield something real, or he's not going to get traded. And I think that's going to be really weird that it fell through, because now he's going to go into the season, which he was already disgruntled. He's been disgruntled for pretty much since he signed that contract, you know. And so I'm kind of curious to see how this year plays out, because they're not just going to give him up.
But I think they're in the position now where they kind of have to give him up now. I know he was ready to move on, and he was excited to go to the Lakers. And I said that multiple times, that he would have been the ultimate role player on the Lakers. But for some strange reason, they went the Russ direction, which I didn't understand. A lot of Laker people that cover the team did not understand it from a fit perspective. It just doesn't make sense. I think with Caldwell Pope, Buddy, and that the thing is, the whole holdup too was that the Lakers didn't want to offer the 22, and they ended up offering it at the end after Montrez had opted in, because he had spoken to Richaun Holmes, and he saw it as a good opportunity, as a 1 year deal, or rental pretty much, to bring back his value, which he lost. That's what I'm saying. The year before, he could have gotten paid in Charlotte, his hometown, but he chose to chase a ring, and it kind of bit him in the ass. So, we're back. I thought it was a great win-win, which is rare to say in like any trade, and that's what we had. And unfortunately, year number 2 where Monty tries and gets a guy like White Dante, who is an exceptional defender, very good shooter, did not happen. And now, once again, it did not happen, man. But yeah, I think there could be a deal in Philadelphia, but I just don't know what the Kings would want back.
There's no way, dude. There's zero chance. I talk about cap. There's zero chance I'm taking Tobias Harris, and it's $36 million. That is a stupid ass contract.
That's a big contract. Yeah,
the Kings would be screwed if they took that. But as I said, they're not going to trade him just to trade him. So all the people out there that want to see it, I'm open to it, but I don't know who it's going to be. People like to throw out like the ideals, right? Like, oh, let's package the most popular one right now is let's trade Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley for a starting wing. And it's like, yeah, you gotta find a team in a league that covets wings with 7-foot wingspans and defense and shit. Yeah, they're just gonna give it up for Buddy Hield and Bagley. I mean, that's not. I don't know who's just throwing that around. So that's why I'm a little skeptical about him getting traded. And like you said about they kind of have to move him. When you're a small market team, you have limited assets, you're not a big player in the free agency market, you got to play hardball sometimes, and you got to wait for that move to be happening. You're not just going to give it up for nothing, It's something's got to come of it, or else he's going to have to roll out there and he's going to have to play,
Yeah, if they don't make a deal with the Sixers, like you said, I don't see another trade partner. They may have to wait until the NBA trade deadline.
That's what I think. Yep. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Do you have any suggestions, Javier? I know you want to talk about a trade. Do you want to propose that trade to Eric?
Yeah, so this is the trade that I put on the board, as I've heard your commentary. And nice to meet you, Eric. I'm Javier. I don't know if you have
sorry, I didn't get your name.
I'm part of the Cowboy Kingdom family. So I propose that the Kings call Atlanta and they offer them Harrison Barnes and Marvin Bagley and even a 2022 protected first-round pick. And return, they get John Collins to sign at like $27 million per with Cam Reddish, because the two salaries between Barnes and Bagley equate to $31 million. Reddish on a $4.5 million contract. You have, Collins signed for $27 million per. You put the 2022 protected pick in there. I feel like it's a win-win for both. The Hawks don't have to go into luxury tax. They get Harrison Barnes, who can play 3 and 4. They get Bagley, who can be a developmental piece off their bench. We get that power forward we need that can stretch the floor, and we get the upside in our 3, which is Cam Reddish. I think it's a win-win, and all in all, how could you be, dissatisfied with that, more or less? I think that's a trade that the Kings should really propose. And all you Kings fans out there listening to Cowboy Kingdom, let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, I think Cam Reddish and John Collins in a sign and trade for Marvin Bagley and Harrison Barnes with the 2022 lottery protected first round pick. I I think it's a win-win for both clubs. Definitely where we're at just because of the Buddy Hield trade falling through. Definitely didn't want to have that happen, but this is a way to save face and get something done.
The trade would be cool, man. I like that trade. But the thing is like trades are so hard to make happen. You know what I mean? And but they're out, for some reason the Hawks want to give up on Collins. Mostly they want to pay him probably, and the Cam Reddish thing's weird. You know what's up with that? But I like it. I like where you're going, because one thing that Ryan and I have been talking on Kingscast is the Harrison Barnes contract. Everyone hates on the Buddy Hield contract, and they hate on him, but no one ever questions or criticizes Harrison Barnes for some reason. His contract is basically the exact same. It's a declining year over year kind of deal. He's a little older, and if you got a John Collins and Cam Reddish, and basically Bagley's pretty much his days are numbered, and you're basically just giving up HB. I'd get behind that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, sounds good. And especially now with the Hawks offering Trae Young $207 million over 5 years, big-time contract. It was going to happen, right? Especially after leading your team to the Eastern Conference Finals. All the 2018 kids are getting paid except for Bagley. So, yeah.
That's what happens, though. Leo.
Can I ask Eric a question real quick, Leo?
Go
ahead. So, I have a question in regards to Mr. Simmons. Now I'm talking to the guy that goes and doesn't put up a shot in the fourth quarter. We're talking about Benjamin, right? So for all you Kings fans out there that might not like him, wrong, right, or different, you know, Daryl Morey's kind of, shot himself in the leg figuratively, and I almost want to say literally, with all these just horrendous trade proposals that supposedly been out there, what he's been asking for. If you were the Sacramento Kings, is there any way that some world that they could package Hield, Bagley, Thompson, and 2, if not 3 first-round picks for Simmons and Filler? I mean, I would say Thibault, but I don't think they give us Thibault. Rather, was there any way? I mean, you can even take out you can even take out Tristan Thompson out of the deal. Is there any way in the world between now and November that the Philadelphia 76ers would include a package of Ben Simmons and potential Filler for Hield, Bagley, and maybe a throw-in, and we throw 2 to 3 unprotected firsts, whether they're first-round picks or first-round pick swaps? Or do you think that's just something that Daryl Morey has not come to grips with, that the Simmons value is not what he presumes in present time, and either he's going to take a deal like that, or he's just going to bite the bullet and let him be their starting point forward in the fall, going into the opening night of the NBA season?
I think that yeah, I agree with you in that the Sixers are tripping when it comes to their asking price. Where I disagree with you though is I think it's something I've been telling a lot of people when it comes to the Simmons take. I think a lot of people are a prisoner of the moment with that guy right now. Facts. When it comes to his offensive stuff. If you look at Ben Simmons, I mean, he was a phenom. He was hyped. He was the number 1 pick. If you look at his resume currently, I mean, the guy is going to be a career all-defensive team player. I mean, that's going to be his career. He's going to have his stats in the 3 major categories, close to double-doubles his whole career. He's versatile. He can play power forward. He can play small forward. He can play point guard. You know, you don't get that, right? So I know it's a totally hypothetical thing, and honestly, I don't know if it's likely. I don't think Kings are going to play ball like that to give up a bunch of assets. But in order to get him, it's the one thing a lot of Kings fans have pushed back. They'd have to trade Tyrese Halliburton. That's what I think. I think they'd have to trade Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and then a bunch of other stuff and get him. And I think that's probably the best the Sixers could hope for, to be honest with you. But, you know, I don't know. These guys are crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of Kings fans are super resistant about trading Tyrese Halliburton. And my counter is always, y'all hate Buddy Hield anyway. Y'all hate Marvin Bagley anyway. And, you know, betting says that Tyrese Halliburton is probably not going to have the All-Stars and Defensive Player of the Year type of stuff that Ben Simmons already has at 24. So I'm for trading 24-year-old guys with that type of resume. You know what I mean? I'm about that.
Yeah, I think Tyrese, Buddy, and Marvin with picks would be the best that the Sixers could get. Besides the obvious pick with Portland, which would be 2 firsts and CJ, which I think is the optimal trade for both teams. But again, NBA teams, same with that Laker-Wizards deal, they never make the right moves that make sense because that Kings-Laker deal was perfectly made, but they didn't make that happen, and then they went to the Wizards, which didn't make any sense. So the deals that make sense probably don't happen as much. That's why. But Tanvir is asking about Siakam. Eric, what do you want to give up for Siakam?
No, he's hurt.
Same kind of thing, probably. Same kind of thing. I mean, what do the Kings have to offer, right? Their prime piece is Halliburton. They have Buddy Hield, who's the shooter. They have the big contract to match contracts in Harrison Barnes. They have Bagley if someone takes young potential, and they can float another pick. That's basically the assets that they have. So some type of combination of that to get Pascal Siakam. It's like we said earlier. I mean, I get you're saying he's hurt, all this stuff, but at the same time, the league's only full of so many guys that can play that are, quote unquote 3-and-D guys everybody loves with 7-foot wingspans. It's only full of so many of them. That's why there's a lot of value on them. So, but it's another. It's like I said, I don't call it far fetched, but it's kind of far fetched. It's wishful thinking stuff. I think realistically, when it comes to the Kings, I think they have a core group of people who they can play here for a little bit, and I think their big problem last year was they had no depth. And they had no versatility in lineups. That's the biggest thing with the Kings right now. That was last year. They were running 6 guys plus Kojo, and then the Stockton Kings. 6 guys Kojo and the Stockton Kings, and then when it came to certain matchups, they got outclassed because they didn't have the versatility within their starting lineup. And I think that really they're taking the approach this year: 2-year deals. Let's make sure in 2 years our cap space is right. Let's make sure we have veteran depth. Let's make sure we have versatility lineups. I think they're more likely going to compete on that. I don't think they're big game hunting. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. Although as much as we all would love to see it, it's just so hard to make that thing happen.
So would you rather have Siakam or Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, me too.
Leo.
Go ahead.
Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Simmons, Thibault, Shake Milton.
Yeah, you have to add like 3 firsts to that, though.
For us to send to them?
Yeah.
They get Halliburton.
Dude, yeah, but Halliburton. We love Halliburton.
We get Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Okay,
we get an all-world defender at the age of 24.
2 first-round picks, Hield, Bagley, and Halliburton. We get Milton.
I'll do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd do it. Would you?
Eric?
Would you do it?
I don't know, man. So you're saying, repeat it. You're saying, so basically Simmons and then whomever, basically for Halliburton and some first round picks and who else? Because you got to match the money. He makes a shit ton of money.
Buddy.
And Buddy, I don't even know if the money would get there. Barely would get there, probably.
It would work.
It would work, yeah.
38 million.
I don't know how many.
Sending out, and we'd be receiving 37 back.
Yeah, you're talking about 3 first-round picks. I don't know, man. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
2 first-round picks. 2 first-round
picks. Protected or something, maybe. I don't know.
22 and 24.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't really value first-round picks like that. I think
yeah, me neither.
At the end of the day, NBA.
What about
Thibault
and Milton's value?
Thibault would be nice.
They want to get rid of Thibault,
and Milton would be too.
Yeah, me too.
Are they going to want to get rid of Thibault as well? Maybe. I don't know. Daryl Morey's over there, dude. That dude loves shooters, so maybe. Yeah.
I don't think they get rid of Thibault. There's no way.
Yes or no?
I mean, and yes, this fake trade is a yes. Duh.
Yeah.
He said yes too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, but why wouldn't he give up Thibault? You have to give to get, and vice versa. Like you want to get Tyrese Halliburton, then give us Matisse Thibault.
Yeah, but we're getting their all-star. We don't have any all-stars to give out.
They're getting 2 first-round picks.
But those picks don't matter because the Kings are going to be good.
Joel Embiid don't want him on the team anymore, cuz. And Doc Rivers said he ain't the one.
It just goes back to these GMs, dude. They manage assets, man. They're managing cap. They're managing 100%. Assets. It's all about that. Matisse Thybulle, he doesn't make a lot of money. He's a second-team all-defender in the NBA. So, in a league like you guys talking about valuing perimeter defense, I don't know, maybe, but that like I said, I just don't think a big trade is going to happen. I know everybody wants the big game hunting. You look at the pattern of behavior from the Kings. They didn't blow it at the deadline. They didn't lock their cap in at the deadline. They didn't lock their cap in the offseason. They're basically managing their team in a 2-year window right now. It's all just they're going to fortify the bench and just manage whatever assets they have here. You know what I mean? I think if anything, either Buddy or or HB, their contract and that
Yeah.
$20 million they're earning gets broken up into two contracts or something, like for a young player. I don't know, something like that. But
Yeah. Eric, one last thing before I let you go. I want to be respectful of your time. What did you think
yeah.
of Daveon Mitchell's being selected at number 9?
Well, everybody, a lot of people hated on that, huh, Leo? A lot of people are out there just
Yeah.
freaking out. So I'll tell you what I really like the move. Okay, and here's what I think. I think like everybody glamorizes the draft. All right, we talked about this on our last Kings Cast episode. We're big NFL guys. Okay, in NFL, like in the draft, you can go get a guy who can turn around your franchise like real quick. All right, people think that of the NBA draft. So the NBA draft is a crapshoot. A lot of guys aren't super impactful for a number of years. You draft them at 18 years old, you have to wait a bunch of years for them to develop. So realistically, you're getting kind of get a guy you got to work on. And I think people's expectations is to get this franchise changer. So when the Kings went out there and they drafted a defensive specialist to play guard, which they already have 3 guards, I think people were up in arms about it. But it goes back to he's 22 years old, so they're not drafting 18-year-olds who struggle to get their body weight up. They have a guy who's going to come in and play and participate. He does something who the other guys don't really do, and he locks down other guards. It allows them to have a versatility in their lineup, which is something we've always talked about. And I think it helps them right away. So you got to be realistic about what you're going to get in the draft, and I think the guy will actually contribute. And so with that, that's all you can expect and hope for. If he turns out to be good, he does. If not, it is what it is. That's why I'm always #TTP. Trade the pick always. TTP plus package and player. I usually favor that, but I like it. I don't hate on it. And you know what, Leo? Yeah, people love it. You guys talk about the effort guys. People talk about that the hustle guys. Dude, he's gonna get in there, and all these people who hate on him, they're gonna love him because he's gonna come in and grind. You know what I mean? You know how it is.
Yep, that's it, man. Bobby Jackson said that exactly today. He's already leading by example, already one of the best defenders. I mean, this guy, as I said originally, I wanted James Bouknight, but the more I thought about it, Daveon Mitchell makes a lot of sense on a team that's extremely soft, and he brings that toughness. He's going to light a fire under De'Aaron Fox's ass, under Tyrese Halliburton's ass as well, and that's a great thing because the more competition you have, the better guys get, right? And that's just in life, just in general. Like, if you know someone's coming after your job, guess what? You're probably going to want to perform a little bit better, man. But, hey, Eric, I appreciate your time, brother. Let's do this again soon. Are you going to the Classic tomorrow or Thursday?
I will be there tomorrow. We worked with our sponsors. So Kings Cast got season tickets, so we'll be in the house tomorrow. We're in a suite.
Beautiful.
So if you're gonna be there, we'll maybe link up. If you're gonna be there.
I will.
Yeah, sounds good, man. So, Javier, nice to meet you, man. Hey, thanks for bringing me on, Leo. We'll have to get you on Kings Cast sometime. If I can plug it real quick.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
We do Kings Cast. It's a weekly podcast for Kings fans by Kings fans. My host, Kings Cast Ryan. Then we also run the Kingsland Facebook page. So that's a real fun group. If you're sick of Kings Twitter, jump on Kingsland. It's a public group. We do a lot of chatter, a lot of back and forth, good takes on there. So that's pretty much where we're at. So I appreciate having me on, man, and I'll definitely catch up with you guys another time.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. Take care.
Pleasure meeting you, Eric.
All right.
You have a good night, man. Hope to talk to you soon.
Good stuff by Eric from Kings Cast. Javier, what was your biggest takeaway from our conversation?
That we have a lot of opinionated Kings fans. And
that's good.
I respect the acumen. I respect the way he feels. Most importantly, I respect the way he presented his thought process. I think we see it differently in regards to Richaun, in regards to even potential trade with Simmons and Atlanta with Reddish. But hey, that's why we have these platforms to discuss respectfully and collaboratively how we feel about the Kings making them better. But at the end of the day, before you go to sleep tonight, the Kings got better today. Not just roster configuration, but Christie. Like that, whether people think that was a stretch. Hey, I've heard, if you watch the telecast, he knows defensive concepts. He knows schematic play design that's effective defensively. Not just the conceptual game plan. He knows how to teach defense from the wing position to the interior position to the guard position. And that's something that's invaluable because outside of Walton, I'm not saying every player can coach, but I'm saying they have a lot less valuable, knowledgeable and experienced coaches that play the game at a high level. And he is literally bleeding purple and black. He bleeds Sacramento. He bleeds the Kings. He wants the Kings to win more than anything in his life right now. Outside of his family and his love for his family, he wants the Kings to be a winner and be a champion. And he wants to bring a parade to downtown Sacramento. I mean, that's something like you said, Richaun. He wants to be a King. It's hard to find people like that. You know, it's
Big
hard
facts.
to find.
Big facts. So before we preview tomorrow's game, which will be Kings Warriors and Kings Lakers on Thursday, please, guys, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. If you guys haven't left us a review on iTunes, please do that as well. Look up CK Podcast with Leo Bias. You'll catch a lot of good content on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, if you guys love NBA content, we've been providing and just grinding things out on this platform, on this Basketball Zone, that is the new name of this YouTube channel because we're trying to grow it to a broader audience as well. We'll always have Kings coverage as you're getting it now, but we're also going to be providing different types of coverage, from all NBA teams. And it's going well. So we had about 4,000 to 5,000 views on my Rockets video. Getting some Houston Rocket fans on the channel as well. Just trying to grow, man. Because at the end of the day, I can't keep on banking on the Kings to being good because I've been doing it for too long and I feel like it's stunted our growth. But at the same time, we'll continue to provide frontline coverage of the Kings and also frontline coverage of the entire NBA. Javier, tomorrow we're going to get Moody, Kuminga, in Golden One Center against Mitchell. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. What do you expect tomorrow?
I expect to see a lot of mistakes, a lot of fresh legs, but a lot of effort, tenacity, and grit. And I think that from both sides. And Kings fans, be ready, man, because Daveon is a dog, and all dogs eat. And that's what we need on this team, man. We got a bunch of cats, and he said, hey, dog, I'm here to make it happen. We going to eat, and we all going to feast because this ain't a game about play. This is a game about physicality, who wanted more. And like I said, McNair's doing the right thing, bringing the right people in. Like, I'm not saying he's going to make us a championship team in 2 years, but, no one can sit there and say from when he got hired to now that he's made the Kings a worse franchise. Yeah, they stumbled on the Bogdanovich trade. Granted, that's I think anomaly of the league, and the Hield trade, that's, again, anomaly of the Lakers because they're the Lakers. That's why we should do business with them because Southern California ain't us. We ain't cut like them. But, again, the deal and the packaging, and most importantly, the chess pieces aren't all moved. We got moves that we can make with what we still have left on our board. Be patient. Let McNair do his due, and we're going to see where we at come October.
Well said, man. And then on Thursday night, the Kings and the Lakers will go at it, which, again, will be a fun one. It's always fun when the Kings and Lakers get together, and the Kings against the Warriors. If you guys are there tomorrow night, make sure you guys go to Section 105. Actually, I don't even know where they're going to sit me tomorrow with all the COVID protocols and stuff like that. But I will be IGing on the story, letting you guys know where I'm at. Make sure you come down, you say hello. We're going to all have to be wearing masks, so be respectful of the rules. Follow the rules. Whatever you do at home, you do at home. But in public, we got to follow rules, y'all. That's what a civilized human being does. At the end of the day, agree or disagree with all the politicized stuff going outside of all this stuff, out of our control. We got to follow rules, man. So I think we've had a great discussion. It's been 158 minutes of good Kings talk. Again, thank you guys so much for all the support. Have your notifications turned on because Javi's going to drop a Giannis Antetokounmpo video very, very soon, hopefully. And
coming the next week, it'll be here.
And we'll catch you guys probably tomorrow because today we had a 2-hour show. This is a 1-hour show. We're grinding out content, y'all. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And on behalf of the entire Basketball Zone and Cowbell Kingdom family, we thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Go Kings!